Christine is going to explain movies to Ben, me. I don't know why I just referred to myself in the third person.
There's a kid,
All right.
a boy.
Sixth Sense.
No. He often blacks out as a young boy. Like, he just blacks out and doesn't know what happens.
Donnie Darko.
No. His blackouts are related to a number of different traumas that he's experienced during the course of his childhood.
It sounds like a really feel-good movie. Why are you picking such fucked up movies?
They're just interesting.
Okay, keep going.
Anyways, a therapist that he had when he was a young adult suggests that he journal so he can remember what happens. Because, you know, when he experiences a blackout, sometimes he doesn't know what was happening. So he starts to write down what's going on, who he's with, and whatnot.
So he blacks out a lot?
Yeah.
Dude, where's my car?
No, shut up. In his 20s, he finds a journal from when he was younger and he starts to read it. And then all of a sudden, he finds himself reliving the experience from the page he was in the middle of reading.
Is he Ashton Kutcher?
Yes.
Okay.
Dun, dun, dun,
Dude, where's my car was close then. All right, keep going.
Okay.
Yes,
So he'll go back to relive the experience, and then he'll go back or forward in time again. And the situation can repeat itself, and then he realizes that he can take different actions and do something slightly differently, which could result in a different outcome. He also realizes that by looking at his journal, he can return to a specific page to go back to that part of his life and redo his actions if he wanted to, because he now later knows the outcome. So he realizes, like, he can make a lot of different choices if he wanted to, even something so simple. And so we see him experience different parallels of life outcomes. In one of these situations, he's a sorority frat boy, super popular, blah, blah, blah. And one of them, like, he's in prison.
And one of them, he kills a butterfly and it completely changes his future.
You know the movie?
Well, yeah, we know.
Yeah. One thing is constant, though, is his love for this beautiful blonde girl. Of course, there had to be a beautiful blonde girl.
That transcends all space and time.
The year is 2004, and if the movie did not have a beautiful blonde girl as the main love interest, like, it would not succeed in theaters.
Of course. Who played the beautiful blonde girl?
Amy,
Do you remember?
was it Amy Smart?
Oh, I don't know.
I think it was Amy Smart. I could have that wrong. Is her name Amy? Smart. I can't remember. I actually didn't write that one down.
Okay.
That's the only one I didn't write
That's
down.
okay.
He looks for her in every scenario, obviously. And that's really it. It's kind of just like a lesson or a storytelling of, like, if you change one thing, you change everything. And if you could go back to a part of your life and redo it, would you? And if you did, what would that gain for you? And how would it affect other people?
Does he ultimately settle on a reality to just live in without going back? How does the movie end?
I don't remember. I don't even think the ending is really what people left with. I think it's like more of that
Is it a little
existential
ambiguous?
kind of question about
Sure.
if you could repeat things in life, would you? But I think for me, what I remember the most, like the thing that stuck with me the most is that all of the lead character's decisions had impacts on other people, including the beautiful blonde. So like in one situation, she ended up like in a terrible position, like really unfortunate. And I think she was working as a sex worker for money because she couldn't afford anything. And she was living in like an apartment that was not.
But his decisions put her in that position?
Yeah.
Or just like he made one little change.
And then he realized that his action, I mean, maybe it's not entirely fair to say it's all his actions, but like one path he took ultimately resulted in her going down a worse path. So I think some of his decisions in going back in time was to try and fix the two of them. It's just kind of like
it's an interesting like ethical and philosophical question, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also just like, even though the idea of being able to relive a thing in your life, a memory or something, I think that sounds great, but then it would just make those things meaningless if they're not fleeting. Something that makes like a memory or something that happened in your life really beautiful is the fact that it won't happen again, I think.
Mm-hmm. So would you ever go back to a period of time?
Like there are certainly like beautiful memories I have that I would like to experience again. Like, you know, first experiences with, you know, loved ones and things like that. But again, I don't think you'd actually want to do that?
I think it's always hard to say because a lot of people say, oh, I wish I could go back to high school and redo XYZ so I could end up more popular or have a better experience. And I don't know, I've never really been convinced that even if that were possible, that made sense because you ultimately end up as a person who learned and changed from those experiences. And even
Yeah.
if, let's say, it was possible, you could go back to high school and be popular because you dressed in different clothes or whatever it is that would have led you to become popular, you wouldn't have the same outlook later. You'd be different.
Yeah, I also just think it's just speaking for myself, I feel it's a super unhealthy thing to spend a lot of time thinking about what you could have done differently in the past, right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's
just for
another
your
good
own
thing.
mental health. But
Yeah, like holding a grudge against yourself, you're never going to be free to make choices for your
yeah,
future.
I guess that's only useful or practical in the sense of it's helping you change your behavior moving forward. But yeah, so this is Ashton Kutcher starring in The Butterfly Effect. That's
But
the
I
name of
think,
it, right?
sorry, you said if it's useful to help you change your behavior moving forward. I think the problem with being able, if it was possible, to go back in time is that you could just constantly use that as a way to go back and change your behavior so that you don't have to suffer the consequences or the outcome of that behavior. And when you take advantage of that, then you just fuck everything up. I think that's also one of the lessons because he tried to do that a couple times.
Yeah, I guess there's a difference between having the ability to like relive those memories exactly as opposed to actually getting a chance to try that again and change it, right?
Right, because there is no really trying it
Yeah.
again. I mean, maybe the people around you will perceive it as the first time if we're going back in time, but you already know you made the mistake, or so you
I
perceive it to
think
be
both
first.
are morally precarious, but the just being able to relive memories exactly
Mm.
as they happened is a more actually attractive thing, maybe.
Isn't that just called dreaming?
Do you
If
dream about
if you
things
just
that
want to
already
relive a
happened?
memory, you just like think about it.
Can you do that? Can you just tell yourself to dream things?
Well, not necessarily like dream in my unconscious sleep.
But to me, it's just like a more exaggerated version of like, why do we have picture books? Why do we take pictures of things?
Hmm.
Actually, I think a lot of people now just take pictures to share on social media, and that's
It's
the
for
normal
likes
thing to
then.
do. But I think the more traditional idea of having like a photo album was to like in a kind of superficial way be able to relive those memories, right? And let your memory go there.
Yeah.
But if you could like instead of a picture, a photo book or photo album, you could literally plug yourself into a computer and just like relive that memory like exactly like you're there. I think that's a really interesting
That
idea.
should be a movie. I mean, maybe it already exists. That's what the year 2037 is going to look like. Let's see.